And welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is beauty and how beauty can bring us closer to the ineffable, an experience of the divine, that's beyond words, a connection with life in the universe that is indescribable. So it's a fun topic. And before we get started, let's take a minute or two to get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all your cells, all your molecules, your electrons, creating a brilliant beam of light and energy from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's press our palms together, vigorously rub your hands together to feel the friction, the temperature, the pressure, all the sensations, let them, including the tingling and tickling, let all those sensations bring you present right here, right now, into this remarkable physical form that enables you to experience life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, Rosalind. Welcome. I was a little late this morning, had some pretty intense technical things going on because a password to log into Restream somehow got lost. And anyway, we're here now, and my apologies for being late. And let's talk about beauty. Beauty is, for me anyway, the quickest access to what we might call the divine or the ineffable, just to this, and also to a visceral experience of love. The beauty is just such an entry point. It's so heart opening and expansive and moving, viscerally moving for me. And I don't know if that's unusual. I think that it's not. All of a sudden, what popped into my mind is examples of people listening to someone singing that brings tears because it is just so magnificently angelic, otherworldly, so deeply, deeply stirring. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about the experience of beauty, not our commercialized ideas of what beauty is, but a beauty that just moves one to tears. Maybe not always tears, but moves us to an open-heartedness, to a sense of presence that is beyond words, that is indescribable. And it's interesting to me that we can actually presence ourselves. I mean, we're surrounded by beauty. We're surrounded by the miraculous if we just presence ourselves to nature. And beauty doesn't have to necessarily be something that is adherent to the conventional notion of pretty. Beauty and pretty don't necessarily have to have anything in common. Something can be terrible and beautiful all at once. We can experience the presence of someone else, or witness someone in an act of kindness or selflessness where there's just an incredible beauty to it. Even like a fire can be beautiful even when it can be terrible, and it's awe-inspiring that it has such strength and power. And so when we step beyond the conventional notions of beauty, we can access even deeper, richer dimensions of being. Excuse me. Yeah. So beautiful. I have a friend who is an artist who is a photographer and captures the most hauntingly beautiful and sometimes sort of terrifying or terrible images. And what I mean by that, it's very hard to find words actually to describe this, but there's an otherworldliness about the images that she captures that are taking us deeper into a deeper perception, a deeper experience than a pretty picture kind of thing. We can see photographs that are beautiful, but that don't necessarily stir that depth of response. And in so many cases in our world, we have culturally devalued the importance of beauty. Like we'll make utilitarian, functional buildings or utilitarian, functional furniture or devices. We have a culture that has deified efficiency and functionality and has not included, generally not included, the aesthetics, which is actually really interesting if you think about why the iPhone was so popular, is so popular. It's very much to do with aesthetics. It's functionality, but it's also aesthetically pleasing. And so much of what our culture has created is functional and maybe efficient, but is lacking in that aesthetic that stirs our hearts and elevates our spirit. I wonder what your relationship might be to beauty. Like, do you think about that? For me, I know that I have to have beautiful surroundings. I have to have beautiful things to fill my eyes, fill my vision, fill my heart around me. If I'm in an ugly environment, it actually really deeply impacts me in a physical way. And it makes sense. It makes sense that we get to connect with the beauty of the world. it moves us into, and it moves me. I'll speak about me because I don't know how much of this is a shared experience. And it may be a shared experience that you're just not conscious of too. But color and shape and sound, the senses, I guess that might be a way to be looking at beauty, is that it is something that stirs a heightened sensibility, that evokes a deeper connection, and maybe that heart opening or that sense of wonder that brings us into a different state in which we are more deeply connected to life, like plugging in an electrical device into a socket, to actually activating something that is always there to be activated, but is often left or often ignored or often disregarded. I think beauty is a reward in itself, to just be able to experience and appreciate it. And it's interesting because in our culture, Rosalind says sunlight, aromatic essential oils, blinking slowly as if drinking them in. Oh my gosh, Rosalind, I love that. I feel that. So that's such poetry. And that's being present to the deep appreciation for the magic. I guess beauty to me is sort of a magical thing. And I think culturally we get so distorted around notions of what's beautiful in a material sense when it comes to ourselves and other human beings, and the judgment that we have around what a beautiful person, for instance, looks like, rather than being able to see beauty in all things, because it's there. It's there. And we have some experiences of beauty that just burst our heart open, just explode us into this just receptive, open, vulnerable, inspired place. And yet, beauty is also something that we can source by focusing our attention, as you said, for instance, Rosalind, with the aromatic essential oils, just blinking slowly to drink them in, gently breathing in and breathing out. It's presence that can bring us to the experience of beauty, because there's beauty in everything if we choose to perceive it, if we choose to open ourselves to it. I just keep getting this image of, I don't know where it's coming from, but an old woman bending to um, receive the hand of a child, to hold the hand of a child. And there's a beauty in that. Maybe the message in that image is that beauty transcends time. And reaches into another dimension of our experience and our being that we don't necessarily access regularly. So the invitation is to be exploring more deeply how we might presence greater beauty in our lives. So love, life, omnipresence says unconditional love, forgiveness, unconditional acceptance, non-judgmental, peace. Maybe what happens with beauty is that it transcends our sense of judgment. It kind of bypass, maybe it is able to get past the filters, like the intense moments of being overcome by beauty. For instance, listening to someone singing in a way that we are so deeply moved that all of our defenses disappear, that we just end up being transcendent. That I believe that beauty allows us to access that experience of transcendence of our limitations, of our constraints, into this deep experience that awakens another dimension of being. It touches the divine, and not just pretty kind of beauty. That's not what we're talking about. Uh, we're talking about something that there aren't really words for, I guess. That's kind of, maybe that's the irony of it, is that um, it's ineffable. Beauty as a verb. Um, Rosalind says direct experience before interpretation starts to relate the image to a pattern or a past memory. Before interpretation starts to relate the image to a pattern or past memory. Yes, direct experience. Thank you, Rosalind. You helped a lot there. So life omnipresent is saying self, unconditional love, self-acceptance projected on earth creates heaven on earth. So I think that is kind of the crux of the truth, is that as we become more accepting of ourselves, as we become more whole in that, then we are able to be more whole with others, for sure. So getting back to this notion of direct experience, that, like, this experience of beauty brings us beyond the past, beyond the future, into the ever rich, ever expanding present, in a way that it kind of stops us in our tracks, and we become no longer bound by time and space. It's a transcendent experience, and we can elicit that experience by allowing ourselves to be present in to whatever is happening in the moment. So Life Omnipresent says a major source of the ego's off-balanced state is the lack of discrimination between the body and the thoughts of God. A major source of the ego's off-balance state is its lack of discrimination between the body and the thoughts of God. What if the body is a thought of God? It would be a whole different way to be relating to our bodies. What if whether you call it God or you call it consciousness or you call it life, what if the body is an expression of that too, that it's all part of this collective state of consciousness that is generating. So we're getting off track here, but it's almost the end. But Life Omnipresent says ego is body, is separation. What if ego is part? Well, I think the ego gets a bad rap because we need our ego to navigate in life, and we need our body to navigate in life. That's why we start every day here in the meditation with bringing us present to our bodies as the vehicle for our experience here as human beings. And I think we create the separation. When you say ego is body is separation, we're creating separation between ego, body, and presence to life. Ego, body, and life. It's all part of our experience here. And separating those things out from one another is separating ourselves from our ultimate experience. Ego mind is fear-based algorithm. I don't know what that last word means, algorithm, but I think that there's often when we talk about ego, we're typically talking about an imbalanced, unhealthy egoic identification versus ego being our sense of self and expressing in the world. And I think that there is, and it's just my thoughts, and you may not agree, and that's okay, but that without ego, we don't get to navigate in the world very well, of some sort. And same thing with our bodies. We are all of it and more. So that's, again, my opinion. And just, you're welcome to explore that or agree or disagree. Try it on for yourselves. We don't have to all believe the same things. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection. And I go live here each weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page and YouTube channel. And I am deeply, deeply grateful for your engagement in these conversations and the opportunity to be exploring together. It's very, very rich for me. And I hope it is for you. And until next time, so much love to you.